I think sometimes boredom isn't really boredom. I think sometimes boredom is me expecting too much of a younger child.
Yes.
Kindergartners need to play. They need to play. They learn while they play. It's not wasted time. And so I think sometimes we have to adjust our expectations that we're placing on our children.
Judy, that's so true. I've talked to so many people in the booth, and so many of them are like, well, I want my child to be challenged. I don't want my child to, for it to be too easy. But think about it. Like, do you like to do things that are always a little bit hard? Like, we prefer when it's just a little bit on the easy side, right? So it's okay. We actually learn better when it's not excessively difficult. If you're always reading college level books, then that can be really hard. Sometimes you just want to read something fluffy, and fluffy means that it's a little bit on the easier side.
Yes.
Right. And there are so many good books that aren't necessarily up to the level, the hardest thing that your kid could read, but they're still so valuable and so fun.
Yes.
And it's a mental break to have
Yes.
something easy to read.
And
Yes,
haven't we, yeah, I'm so sorry.
if you have a subject that is hard, like math, then it's okay for another subject to be a little lighter.
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be.
Yes, and also that idea that it's a marathon, right? This is not a sprint. Kindergarten is not the end. They're not graduating and leaving you next year. And especially if you're new and your oldest is your kindergartner, you feel like every single thing you do right at this moment is going to make or break them for life. They are not the person they're going to be. In even a year, you're going to see tremendous change in them and in what they can handle and their abilities. And I have just stood back and marveled at my younger kids, and I'm thinking, oh, they are never going to do this. They are never going to be able to do this. They're never, and then I'm blown away by what they're interested in and what I thought would never happen. And there they are. So there is time to challenge them and push them in different areas as they get older. This is a marathon.
Yeah. And those physical growth spurts, like I
Yes.
remember my kids would go to bed and sleep 12 hours and have grown an inch. There's
Yes.
those mental things too.
Yeah.
Like, they're not getting it. And all of a sudden it's like a light flip switches and all of a sudden they get it.
Yes.
And the little bit on an easy side is also a confidence builder.
Yes.
If I'm always handing my child a book that they struggle to read, they're going to feel like a failure
Yes.
after a while.
Yeah.
But if I make sure that they get books that they have fun and they laugh when they read and they get all done and they say, Mom, that was a great book.
Or they want to keep reading. Like
Exactly.
they're the schedule says one chapter and they're like, can I read another one? Because it was easy and they want to keep going.
Yes. And who says, school doesn't equal hard.
Right.
It doesn't have to equal hard. They aren't synonymous. And I think sometimes we have it in our head that that's synonymous, and it's not. The goal of education is to learn. That's the goal. We want them to learn, and there's lots to learn, and we can take our time to learn it. It's fun. I also wanted to interject this. If any of you have boys, just plan on them really not learning or being aware of anything from about, what are we saying, 12 to 14? I found with my boys between for sure 7th, 8th grade, it's like, wow, it's unbelievable. So even
All
being
the energy is going into growing.
Yes. And so even being, I wish, I have had to apologize so many times and even ask God for forgiveness because of, it's just, I get really hard on those boys. And I think I need to just take a step back and be patient and understanding of their development.
That's true. And stress has been proven to impair learning.
Yeah. And we've gone through that too, where if there is some stressful life event going on, then a month later, I'm wondering why we're struggling so much with spelling. And the reason is that somebody's little brain is concentrating on survival, on they're sleep deprived, they're worried, they're using their energy somewhere else that's just more important, more basic. And so school is just kind of swirling around, but not really happening. And sometimes the right answer is to put it down. We're just not going to do spelling for a month. And then when life calms down and when you're over the anxiety and when everything is okay again, we're going to pick it back up and we're going to be fine. And nobody has died yet of a spelling break. So,
and I am so much of the time as a mother, a taskmaster, when I really need to be a cheerleader.
Yes.
I really need to be in their corner and they need to feel like I'm on their side.
Yes.
Yeah. We use that in our home. I'm on your team.
Yeah.
I'm on your team. And even Judy, when you said that, I think, have you smiled today? Right? Have you smiled at your children? Do they know that you love them? You don't just love homeschooling, that you actually love them, and that's why you're in this. Yeah.
And also that you appreciate them, the
Yes.
time and effort they're putting in, because sometimes it really is hard for them to gain a skill and to practice it and to do what you say or to even listen to you. It's hard for some children. So one thing that I noticed in our homeschool is that I'm also a taskmaster and I see everything that's wrong with that paper, and I'm very tempted to point out what's wrong with it. But then I think, no, I need to point out what's right with that paper. Say, hey, son, I really appreciate how you worded that. That was brilliant. And that was so much better than that last paragraph you did. I'm so amazed at what you did. You don't want to overblow it, but of course, notice what they do right and let them know when you see what they've done right or their progress. Say, hey, a month ago, you weren't getting this, but look what you're doing now. I'm so proud of you.